I'm bringing up Brigadier General Bob Labruta.
Good afternoon. I'm Brigadier General Bob Labruta, 502nd Air Base Wing and Joint Base San Antonio Installation Commander. This morning we received one of those calls that you never want to receive. We did have a situation here at Lackland Medina Annex where we felt as though there might be an active shooter situation. That was confirmed, unfortunately, for all of us. I will tell you that I will confirm, I saw it on news broadcasts, that we do have 2 victims. Both of those victims have been determined to be deceased. We will not go into the specifics regarding those victims. As you all can very well understand, our hearts and prayers go out to the families that are going to be affected by this tragedy. We have a next of kin notification process that we will not interrupt, but the care of those families is really foremost in our minds right now. Our first responsibility is safety, security, and asset protection. I will let you know that we have incredible security forces defenders, our military police, along with our fire department, along with our medical professionals, and because of the great partnership that we have with the San Antonio Police Department, as well as the Bexar County Sheriff's Department, the FBI, and the other agencies that are here in the local area, the response to this tragic event was overwhelming, and it was absolutely outstanding. We got to the facility in question within 3 minutes. The relationship is that the San Antonio Police Department and Bexar County Sheriffs took control of the traffic that was external to the installation. We also went into a lockdown situation, which we do for active shooter every single time. I want you to know that we trained for this, we're prepared for this, and as a result of that training, we were on scene and we were in the facility within 3 minutes of that initial call. What I'll do now is I'm going to turn it over to my command team. The way that we work these incidents is that for this particular incident is an active shooter, so our security forces defenders had incident command. Once they secure the scene and go through their procedures, it's turned over to our fire department, and our fire chief is here to address. And then once that scene is actually completed, then it is transitioned over to our OSI, Office of Special Investigations. Lieutenant Colonel Waller will address from his perspective, and we actually have the FBI chief that's here that'll also talk from his perspective. So with that said, I'll introduce you to Lieutenant Colonel Bobby Ford. He is our 802nd Security Forces Commander here at JBSA Lackland. Bobby?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. The initial call came in via 911 at 0840 hours of an active shooter at Building 147, which is also known as Forbes Hall, which is here on the Medina side of JBSA Lackland. Immediately, patrols were dispatched out. As General Labruta said, they arrived within 3 minutes. 2 patrols immediately responded within 3 minutes, began tactically entering the facility and searching for any active shooter based on the active shooter call. Also, immediately upon dispatching those patrols, Joint Base San Antonio Lackland was placed on immediate lockdown, so we followed our immediate lockdown procedures. So in the course of searching the facility, within 8 minutes, they located 2 potential victims on the first floor and proceeded to search the facility. Facility sweeps, tactical control points outside of the facility were placed for traffic, in addition to outside the perimeter. At 0959, all the sweeps of the facility were completed, so it takes a long time to get through that because we need to make sure that everyone inside there is either a friend or foe and get them out of there and evacuated. At 1000 hours, we declared the scene safe and the crime scene was initially set up, and the fire chief took over, Chief Mark Ledford, and you will talk to him shortly, at 10:12 this morning. At 10:17, the all clear was lifted for the lockdown. So all of Joint Base San Antonio Lackland was lifted from the lockdown and allowed to proceed because we had the scene and the exterior secure. So at this time, I'll turn it over to the fire chief, Chief Ledford, who took over the scene as incident commander at that point in time.
My name is Mark Ledford. I'm the Joint Base Fire Chief. Assumed command from the on-scene commander, and prior to that, we provided assistance with reaching doors, with partnering with San Antonio Fire, San Antonio EMS, ensured those resources were available. Safety was our paramount concern. Assuming command, we made sure that we had a cordon set up and established, made sure all personnel were safe and accounted for. My role has been pretty short in that we're in the process of ensuring everything is taken care of and everyone is safe that's involved in the response. My hat's off to the responders that arrived, the sheriff, San Antonio PD, San Antonio Fire and EMS did a fantastic job. We appreciate their participation, securing the situation as safely as possible. And I'll turn the scene over, or the briefing over. Sir.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy Waller. I'm the commander of the Air Force Office of Special Investigations 11th Field Investigation Squadron here for all Joint Base San Antonio. This morning, as part of the normal notification procedures, my office received a call of a possible incident that was going on here on the Lackland Medina complex. My agents responded along with other law enforcement individuals. We are currently in the process, as General LaBruta mentioned, that there are some casualties. We're in the process of beginning to conduct our crime scene investigations with our crime scene investigators, as well as looking for other leads and information as to determining how this incident began, and everything continues to progress as the day continues on. I expect this will go on for several hours and we'll be out here for a while. But other than that, we continue to work and are being provided with all the resources that we need to get this done expeditiously and as seamlessly as possible to provide the support of people that were there, that were also in the location, to identify witnesses, to collect evidence so we can find out what happened here. The support that we've gotten, especially from our counterparts in the FBI, with manpower, has been tremendous.
Excuse me. Good morning. My name is Assistant Special Agent in Charge Rob Saley. I'm here with the FBI. This morning, agents responded to the call of an active shooter here on base. I'd just like to say our initial assessment is this is not an act of terrorism. Therefore, as the act occurred on base, OSI has the lead. The FBI is here in a supporting role. I have investigators as well as evidence response personnel out here to assist OSI in their investigation. The last thing I would just like to say is my sympathies go out to the families of the victims.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we'll now move on to the question and answer portion of the press conference.
Oscar, can you tell us right off, the report is that it was a commander who was killed and there was an airman. What happened there and who did what, please?
As I indicated, we have a next of kin determination that has to be made. We have an ongoing investigation, and so I will not get into specifics regarding any of that conjecture.
The AP has already reported it, sir.
Yeah. I understand that, and I'm not going to confirm any of that. What we know is that we have 2 victims right now. We're going through our process and procedures, and once we make a formal determination through the investigation, we will let you know.
Both males? Both males, sir?
Excuse me?
Both males, the victims?
Both of the males, I will confirm that they are male victims,
As
yes.
with KSAT 12, do we know the relationship between the 2 victims and also possibly the motive at this point?
Again, it's an ongoing investigation. I think that we'll receive that information probably by end of day. That's what I would hope. But I'm not going to, again, go into conjecture. I'm going to deal with the facts.
Dylan Collier, Case 5. General, this is the second time in less than 3 years there's been a shooting on a San Antonio military installation. Just talk about that. These are supposed to be some of the most safe and secure places in our city.
I would say, Dylan, that we are safe and secure. These unfortunate events happen. We have 82,000 people that come to work in Joint Base San Antonio every single day. And just like any public and in the community, we have some one-offs, and that's what I would consider this, a one-off. It is not a terrorism situation. It is an active shooter situation, and the investigation will make the determination as to what really occurred.
Do we know what kind of weapon was used?
The determination is that there were 2 Glock weapons that were found on the scene.
Andrew Laughlin from News 4. Is Building 147, is that a dorm?
It's Forbes Hall. It's actually a facility that's used for classroom facility. There's an actual theater, and there's actually office spaces that are in Forbes Hall. It's a large facility, and that's why it took us some time to actually go through the process of clearing that facility.
Luis Jonas, Texas Public Radio. How many people were in the building at the time?
I don't have the total number. I will tell you that it is a normal day of operation, so the facility was full. I want to also commend the people that were in the facility. We do train for active shooter. We constantly do that across Joint Base San Antonio, and as a result of that training, the individuals that were in the facility, they actually followed the procedures to a T, and as a result of that, we didn't have other casualties.
And what's the main thing that's done in that building?
It's a facility that supports our battlefield airmen complex here on JBSA Lackland Medina Annex.
Along Center with Time Warner, are you able to tell us what squadron it was? We're hearing that it was with TAC P, possibly.
I'm not going to provide that information at this time. Again, a next of kin determination has to be made before I go into those issues.
Were the weapons used personal weapons?
I don't have that information. The investigation will make that determination.
What's the weapons policy here on base?
The weapons policy for base is that individuals don't get to carry weapons unless they're part of this team, okay? You got to be a security forces defender, you have to be an OSI agent, or if you're in the FBI or one of our brother and sister law enforcement departments, they're the only ones that are authorized to have weapons.
Ashley, that's the case at 12. So at this point, since I know you're saying that there's very limited people who are able to carry weapons, are we going to be looking at some sort of change in security or procedure as far as checking people that may have weapons or may be armed?
That's part of our security process that we have. If there's individuals that are trying to get into or egress from Joint Base San Antonio, you know that we have entry control procedures. Those entry control procedures are used to make sure that we take a look. If there's any sort of situation where our defenders that are on the gates feel as though that they need to make a look in the vehicle, they'll do that. And we also have some random action measures that are instituted to make sure that we keep folks off keel, and I won't divulge any of that, but the bottom line is that we've got good procedures in place.
So, sir, if there's only a small number of people who are able to carry firearms on this facility, do we know how this person was able to carry a firearm on this facility?
We don't, and that'll be part of the investigation that we're doing.
So operations returning here to normal? Is everything go back to normal here?
Everything is back to normal. As Lieutenant Colonel Ford and Chief Ledford indicated to you, I put a lockdown in place, which is part of the active shooter process. As soon as they confirmed to me that we were in a good posture to come out of the lockdown, that's what I did. I initiated coming out of the lockdown procedure for Joint Base San Antonio Lackland.
Do you know how long the two have been enlisted?
Excuse me?
The two men, do you know how long they've been
I haven't
enlisted?
made any determination whatsoever on the two victims, as I said before. That'll be forthcoming once we're done with our investigation.
Can you explain the determination to have BCSO help with searching building for building, whether there are other victims?
Actually, it was our security forces defenders that initiate that, along with some support from a tactical team, I think with the FBI, Chief?
Sir.
Who was the ones that were
Security forces, Bexar County.
In Bexar County?
Police, San Antonio Police.
Okay.
Made entry to the facility and completed to 100% service.
So that's part of that same memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
They come in and...
That's exactly right. And that's the reason why we have these memorandums of agreement. And like I said, the partnership that we have with our law enforcement officials in the city and the county, I know that Chief McManus was here earlier, also the Bexar County Sheriff's Department, along with fire, medical, etc. That's the reason why we have these MOAs in place.
You said there was two weapons. Did one person have both weapons, or did each individual have an weapon?
Part of the investigation. I'm sorry I can't provide that to you.
Folks, as you can imagine, we're very early on in the investigation process. There's a lot of details that we don't have, and we have to collect all those details first before we release it to you. Once we have more information, we'll be glad to go ahead and furnish you with some of this information, information that you're requesting. For that reason, unfortunately, we're not able to give you a lot of the details that you're asking for at this point. With that said, we'll go ahead and open it up for a couple more questions.
So one of the missions here is the 331st
Hold on, let's go one at a time, please.
So one of the things here is the 331st K9.
Yes.
What is that? Can you tell me what is done with that group, what their mission is?
I don't want to actually postulate about that. We've got experts in that area, and what we'll do is we'll provide that information to you at a later time.
Actually, that's the case at 12. As far as the shooting, how many shots were fired, and where were the victims injured, and how many times were they shot?
There was an office that we found the two victims, and I don't have specifics regarding the number of shots.
Okay, 2 more questions, folks.
Okay, Oscar, do we know if there was any animus between the person who shot the other person? Or is there something going on between them?
It's still an investigation. It's an investigation process. We don't have those details right now.
You don't have any sense of why?
I don't have any details.
Not at this time. We've got
So
an
let's see if
investigation. So
there's-
this is, okay, remember, we have victims, we have families, okay? I will tell you that we've got safety, security, asset protection across Joint Base San Antonio. So those that live, work, and play in Joint Base San Antonio, they can take confidence that we're good to go with this situation. I also want to make sure that the family members are taken care of to the best of our ability. That's what we're going to be focused on now, along with the investigation. Once I have more information from the investigation, we will provide that to you.
Hey, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Chuck.